Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video in which we are going to learn about Java exceptions and exception handling with the help of examples. So guys, an exception is an unexpected event that occurs during the program execution. It affects the flow of the program instructions, which can cause the program to terminate abnormally. So guys, sometimes it can happen that you are dividing a number with 0. So in such cases, there will be an exception that we will have to handle explicitly, or else there will be some inbuilt statements that will be printed by Java. So such type of exceptions can occur and we can handle them properly in Java. Now guys, an exception can occur for many reasons. Some of them are invalid user input. So let's say an integer is expected but you provide a string. So in this case we have to handle the exception appropriately. Another thing is we have a device failure, or we can also have the loss of the network connection. So accordingly we will have to handle the exception. Apart from this, we have the physical limitations, that is out of disk memory, or there are code errors as well. Now this code errors, it can be divide by 0 error, or else it can be opening an unavailable file. So we provide the path of the file but there is no such file name in that path. So there will be an exception that will be occurring which we have to handle properly. So guys, these are all the examples of exceptions that might occur. Now what are the different approaches? So the different approaches to handle exceptions in Java. The first approach is the try catch block. So we are going to see this with the help of example. Now we also have a finally block which we will see, and then we have the throw keyword as well. So all these things we are going to see in this video and the upcoming videos as well. So guys, let us move to IDE now. I'll just remove the previous lines of code. Now guys, let me show you a very simple exception over here. So let's say we have an integer and the variable name is number, and on right hand side we have 10 divided by 0. So over here we are trying to divide a number by 0. So there will be no compile time error, but during the runtime there will be an exception that we are trying to divide the number by 0. So let me just print this number over here now. So we have the value of number is, and then we have the name of the variable, that is number. So guys, let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, there is an exception in thread main Java lang arithmetic exception, and then you can see divide by 0 over here. Now guys, this statement, this is not appropriate. We can have some sensible string over here getting printed once we encounter this divided by 0 exception. So what we can do, we can enclose this part within the try catch block. So what we will do over here is we will provide the try keyword over here. So as you can see, we provide the try keyword and then we have this block. So we have the open and close curly braces over here, and inside these curly braces we have our lines of code. So guys, this is the way in which we can enclose the block of code within the try statement. Now guys, why do we have to enclose this? So that if there is a probability of any exception that is occurring, we have to provide it inside the try block, so that what the code will do is after this try block we have something called as catch block over here. So whatever exceptions that occur in the try block, the Java program will throw that exception to the catch block, and appropriately we can print the required statement over here. So as you can see, we had arithmetic exception. So in the catch block it is going to take a parameter over here which will be of the type arithmetic exception. So we have arithmetic exception over here. So we can use this arithmetic exception class name followed by the name of the object. So E is the name of the object, and then what we will do is we will just have the print statement over here, and I will just print the message. So we can use this E variable that we provided as the variable of the arithmetic exception class, followed by dot, and then we have something called as get message as the method in order to get the message of this exception. Let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, instead of those long statements that we were getting previously, we are getting a sensible string over here now, that is divide by 0 has occurred. So this message is getting printed with the help of e.getMessage. And guys, in this way we can easily use the try catch block in order to handle the exception that might occur in your Java program. Guys, one important thing over here is we have used the arithmetic exception over here, which is a child class of the super class that is exception. So we can also use the exception class as well. So I'll just remove this line of code over here and I'll have exception as the class name. So as you can see, we have the exception class name as well. Let me just save this file and try running this code now. So again the same message, that is divide by 0, is getting occurred over here. So guys, in case if you are not aware about what exception might occur in your try block, you can have the superclass name, that is exception, followed by the object of that class, and use that object in order to get the message of the exception that has occurred. Guys, one important thing that you have noticed over here, once the exception occurred in this line of code, that is int number, it is equal to 10 divided by 0, then the control flow did not go to the next statement over here, which is just printing the value of this number, but instead after encountering the exception over here, the control flow goes to this catch block and executes the lines of codes that are present inside this catch block. So guys, this is very important. You should understand that once the exception has occurred in the try block, the remaining lines of code, that is this line of code, will not get printed, and any other lines of codes that are present inside the try block after the exception will not be executed. Now what if there is no exception at all inside this try block? So let me just remove this 0 over here, and let me just have the expression as 10 divided by 2. In this case 10 divided by 2 will be 5, and there will be no exception since we are not dividing it by 0, and the value of number will get printed over here. But in this case, whether this catch block will get executed or not, let us check this. I'll just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, the value of number is 5, that is this statement is getting printed. This means that there is no exception that has occurred inside this try block, and since there is no exception that is occurring inside this try block, the catch block is not executed over here. So guys, the control flow will go to the catch statement only when the try block is having some kind of exception. So guys, so far we have checked the example of the try catch block. Now guys, there is something called as finally block as well. So after having the catch block, we can have the finally block as well. So we have finally over here, and then followed by open and close curly braces, and then inside this, let's say we have a print statement, and we will just say we are in finally. So guys, this will identify that we are in the finally block over here. So let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, the value of number is 5, that is there is no exception over here, and the control flow will not go in the catch statement. But guys, one very important feature about finally block is every time that we have provided the try catch block and then followed by the finally block, so over here inside the finally block, whatever lines of code that are present, it will always be executed over here. So as you can see, we are in finally block, that is this statement is getting printed. So even though there is no exception that has occurred in the try block, the finally block is still getting executed. What if we have the exception over here? So I'll just divide the 10 value by 0 over here. Let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, divide by 0 is getting printed. That's because the exception has occurred on this line of code. So this line of code is not getting printed, but the control flow goes in the catch statement and it says e.get message, which is going to print the divide by 0 string over here, and then followed by the control flow again goes to the finally block now, because this is the important feature about finally block. It will always be executed irrespective whether there is an exception that has occurred or not inside the try block. So we are in finally, that is getting printed over here. So guys, in this way you can easily use the try catch blocks in order to handle some exceptions based on your requirements. Please make sure that you practice on your own so that on different inputs you get different outputs. Please make sure that you like this video so that it reaches to more people, and subscribe to this channel so that you get the notifications on upcoming videos as well. The next video that we are going to talk about is Java try catch finally blocks for exception handling with more examples. So stay tuned.